everyone, this is Larry with Today I Feel Like. I have been shooting with the Sony A6700 for a few months now, and I haven't really made many videos about it, but there were some questions about how to shoot time lapses with this camera and how to get it set up to shoot time lapses. So since I love shooting time lapses, I figured this was a great opportunity for me to jump in, make a video, and here we go. All right, let's jump in and I'm going to show you the way that I shoot my time lapses. Now there is a second way which I'll show you towards the end, but it's a way that gives you more control, but it's not really the way that I use generally. So, all right, first things first, we want to click over to S&Q mode on our camera there, and you'll see it's going to start off generally in S&Q motion. We just want to scroll down to that little icon there. That's going to be the time lapse mode, and then we're going to click OK. And now we want to go into our menu, so we're going to click the menu button. And now from here, we want to make sure that if we're over in the time-lapse section, we want to come over to the little video icon right there, and we want to go over to where it says shooting mode. Just make sure in the shooting mode it says time-lapse, and that's good. And now scroll up to number 1 where it says image quality / record. And we're going to click over to the right. We're going to scroll down to where it says time-lapse settings. We're going to click that there. And then you're going to see where it says frame rate settings. We're going to go ahead and click over to the right again from there. And now we can choose our frame rates and our interval time. So we can choose anywhere from 24 frames a second all the way up to 60. So we have 24, 30, and 60. I'm going to choose 24. And now we can choose our interval time. And so we can go anywhere from 1 second to 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and 5 seconds. But in this mode, 5-second intervals is the maximum. So you can see after 5 seconds, it goes back to 1. And if you notice on the bottom here, it actually shows you how much time for a 5-second it takes for a 5-second recording. So if we go here at 5-second intervals, it's going to take 10 minutes to get 5 seconds of recording time. So you can do the math and figure that for 10 seconds of recording time, we're going to need a 20-minute time lapse. So there you go. You can do that math and just basically add on 10 minutes for every 5 seconds. So yeah, and that's at 24 frames a second. If you go up to say 30 frames, 30 frames a second, then it's going to go to 12.5 minutes per, at 5-second intervals. And if you go to 60 frames, it's going to be 25 minutes for a 5-second recording at 5-second intervals. So yeah, there's that. All right, now that's pretty much it. We're set up and ready to go, but let's go shoot. Oh, as far as your exposure and all that stuff, you can decide how you want to do that. If you want to do it, completely manually, you can, or if you want to do it auto, you can, or aperture priority, however. I like to leave that type of stuff up to you guys. I just want to show you how to get into the time-lapse settings and to set up your time-lapse. All right, now let's head outside and go shoot some time-lapse video. All right, well, I'm outside here and I have my camera hooked up right there. I have it just mounted onto this metal railing, actually using my 3-footed Monster Pro Edition, the magnetic mount, and it is fantastic. Now, there's a couple of things that you should understand about shooting time lapses in general, but if you're shooting with this camera, or any camera really, the longer the interval between your shots, the faster your clouds are gonna move. So if you have a decent little breeze going on and the clouds are moving by pretty quickly, you can actually go with a shorter interval, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 seconds. But if the clouds are moving much slower, then you're probably going to want to go ahead and extend out that interval to maybe 5, 6, maybe even 10 seconds so that you get some really fast motion going on in your video. Now, another tip when you're out here shooting time lapses is to bring a pair of earbuds. So I have my Beats Fit Pro with me today, but I usually carry some sort of earbuds with me. I also have my phone, and that's because when you're out here shooting for extended periods of time, it can get really boring sometimes when you're sitting there for 20, 30, 40 minutes, maybe longer, depending on how long you're shooting your time lapse for. And so being able to listen to music or to watch a video or play a game on your phone can really help pass the time. Now, another tip for shooting time lapses is shoot more than you need for your footage. So if you need, say, a 10-second time-lapse B-roll clip, then shoot 20 seconds. or 25 seconds. And the reason for that is once you shoot your time lapse and you get into post and you realize that maybe the motion isn't fast enough and you speed it up, well, if you make it 2 times as fast, you're only going to have 5 seconds if you shot a 10-second clip. Now, if you shot a 20-second or 25-second clip and you have to speed it up so that you get the motion fast the way you want it, you still have your 10-second time lapse that you originally wanted. So I always say it's better to shoot a little bit more than a little bit less. That way you're covered later in post. Well, what did you think? I have to say I love shooting time lapses with this method because it is quick and easy and the time lapse video is built right there in the camera. But there is the limitation of only being able to shoot at 5-second intervals. And so if you want to shoot at longer intervals, you're going to have to go and use this second method, which I mentioned earlier. Now, for the second method, what we want to do is actually go ahead and go into to photo mode instead of S and Q. And now from photo mode, we're going to go ahead into our menu and we're going to scroll over to where it says drive mode. And from drive mode, we're going to scroll down to where it says interval shoot function and click over to the right. And then we're going to make sure it says interval shooting is on. So if it's turned off, just make sure that you turn it on. Now, right here where it says shoot start time, this is basically just a self timer for the first frame. So you can choose to have that as you know, by minutes or by seconds, or you can just leave it at 0 if you want. So now for shooting intervals, this is where it gets interesting. You can go anywhere from 1 second all the way to 60 seconds. So you can go anywhere from 1 second up to a full minute with intervals. And you'll notice here as you go up, you'll see how the shooting time is increasing. And right now I have it set to 300 shots. So there's that. Now, the other thing is that when you get here, when you're in this mode, you can set the number of shots. So, well, you have to set the number of shots, but you can set it anywhere basically from 1 all the way to 9,999. So you can come over here and you can click and go all the way to 9,999, and you can see there the time will increase as you increase the number of shots that you have. Now, you don't have to shoot through all 9,999 frames if you have it set there. You can just go ahead and shoot and then stop whenever you want. You can just push the shutter button and stop your time lapse whenever you feel like it. So if you're not sure how long you want your time lapse to be in this mode, I think it's safe just to set it to 9,999, shoot for as long as you need, and then go ahead and push the shutter button to stop it. So there you go. Now it does, it will allow you to shoot longer intervals, but it will take a long time if you do that. So just kind of get an idea of how fast you need the motion in your time-lapse video to go, you know, to look, because sometimes it just may be worth it to shoot a little bit longer time lapse at say 5 seconds and then just speed it up in post instead of shooting a longer time lapse like this. Because what this is going to do is actually create a whole bunch of photos, and then you have to take all those photos into post and compile them all into a time lapse video, which does give you more control, but it also gives you a lot more work. So anyways, there you go. All right, well, I'm going to leave links to, well, I don't know, the camera, I guess, down below in the video description, because, you know, if you're going to use a A6700 to do this, you're going to need an A6700. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I'm going to leave links to this. I'll also leave links to my Amazon page and my social media contacts so you can reach me elsewhere. And I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And please subscribe to this channel. And follow me on Instagram. And I am Larry with Today I Feel Like. Thanks for coming back to see me. Come back and see me soon. And until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Peace.